Hey Truth Seekers, it's Nathaniel here doing another deck profile. Today I will be covering a Sadie, Hope, and Universal deck. To start off with, Sadie has the ability, it says once per turn, you may search your deck for a level 1 Animo, excluding Ultra, and place it in your small group. So Sadie has the ability to get you the level 1s that you need when you need them. Alright, moving on to the power cards. Since we have Sadie here as a power with she provides hope power, so I'm only going to use 4 hope power in my deck. I'm going to cover 1 Holy Spirit power because I do need this for Aquilion Ultra in case I don't get my 3 fastings. So the goal of this deck is to get 2 fastings out, and then that way I can use it for Alpha Lux Ultra and equip a Breastplate of Righteousness to my Professor. So that way I'll be able to use both of these. And when Professor has the Breastplate of Righteousness equipped to him, Fasting will be the only card that gets shuffled back. Next up, I have 3 Paul's Chains because I need to have the ability to search for my Animo. It says the Animo to whom this card is attached may not be activated, but may be discarded any time during your setup phase. Once per turn, as long as this card is attached to an Animo in your small group, you may search your deck for up to 2 level 1 Animo and place them in your small group. If there is no room in the small group, this card has no use. So we like to attach this to Servitude, Potpourris, and sometimes Aquilion Ultra. Next up, we have Breastplate of Righteousness, which says every hope cost associated with the Animo to whom this card is attached now becomes a universal cost. And any faith, love, or Holy Spirit now becomes hope. What we will do is we will attach this to Professor, so that way Professor will become universal and he'll shuffle the card back, so we only have to shuffle back 1 fasting. And then we also have 1 gold. And gold says the Animo to whom this card is attached, if it has any shuffle return costs, it may be converted to a hope. Yeah, a shuffle return cost on hope. It will maybe become a hope cost instead. So this way we can attach this to Professor and he won't shuffle back our power cards or Tortosaur, because there is a lot of shuffling back, and this is just to help mitigate that. Alright. Our 2 story cards for the deck are Paused Maws and Giant Killer. Search your deck for a Mega Cine and reveal it to your opponent. Or you can, if you're facing a Mega Cine, you return it to the owner's deck. Paused Maws, you place in the active Cine zone, and they can't activate Cines on you. For that, your opponent can't activate Cines on you until your next turn. And then you have to get rid of all copies of Paused Maws after that. For our Cines, we have 1 Zapper King, who prevents your opponent from playing any level 1 Animo on their next turn. Grasshopper, which says that when played, your opponent reveals their hand, you select 1 card and you have them shuffle it back into the deck. 1 Waspits. It says when this Cine is revealed, select 1 card from your opponent's discard pile and set it aside. It may not be returned for the duration of the game. Wolf, which has the ability, says if this card's in your hand, you may choose to show it to your opponent and shuffle it back into the deck. If you do, draw another card. Here's Tolcrow, has the ability, says as long as this card is active, your opponent may not use any special power from their power pool to activate Animo. Nashtree Mega has a defensive Cine, or has a 16 defense. Globster Mega has a defense of 16. And Tolcrow Mega Plus has a defense of 12. Alright, I have the Animo I like to place in every deck, which is Hoofit, Potpourris, Servitude, and in this deck, 3 Hightail. Since we have a Breastplate of Righteousness in this deck, what we can do is we can actually equip Breastplate of Righteousness and activate this with 1 Fasting, or equip Gold and activate Hightail without returning back any of our Hope. But we have Hightail in here because Hightail can be shuffled back in the deck, so that way you can draw 3 cards. You can only do that once per turn. Servitude, place them in your small group, and you can draw a card for each Faith, Hope, or Holy Spirit Animo in your small group, which will draw for each of the Hope in this deck. Potpourris, which is as long as this card is in your small group, ignore the effects from the actions of any Cines revealed to you. And Hoof It, which says, if this card's in your hand, you may choose to discard it. If you do, shuffle any 3 cards from your discard pile back in your deck, excluding this card. Next up is our Hope Animo, and the Hope Animo that we have are very intentional for this deck. We have 3 Swimmer because we need to get our power cards back after we lose them. Plus, we need to be able to gain our power cards while we're looking for them. I like to have Swimmer back in the deck, so I will shuffle Hoof It back, or I will use Hoof It to shuffle Swimmer back into the deck. I have 3 Auroras because Aurora only cost 1 and can also be used as a Hope power card when needed. I have 3 Tortosaur. Tortosaur says you may search your deck for any level 1 Animo and place it directly into your small group. We like to use Tortosaur because Tortosaur has the can grab us our Ultra Animo. He shuffles the power card back. Next up, we have 3 Professor. Professor has the action that says search your deck for up to 2 level 1 Animo, excluding Ultra, and place them into your small group if space provides. So we use Professor to grab us more Animo, which will be usually at least 1 Tortosaur and another Professor. So that way we can combo play them. And to continue getting our power cards back after we've lost them, we have 2 Oinkum level 1 and 2 Oinkum level 2. Oinkum level 2 has the action that says search your deck for 2 Hope powers, place them directly in your power pool, shuffle your deck afterwards. And then that's all for our Hope Animo. So our goal in this deck is to basically chain activate our Hope Animo. Use Professor to get the Tortosaurs, to get more Professors, to get more Tortosaurs and Professors, and just chain activate them so we can activate way more Animo than just 4 in a single turn. Now, in this deck, we have 1 Sea Curl and 3 Bibsy. These Animo are very important for this deck. Bibsy has the ability, says when this card is played from your hand to your small group, you may draw 1 card for each Animo in your small group. Sea Curl doesn't have an ability. However, what these guys do is that they cost 1 universal. We run an Alpha-Lex Ultra in this deck. Alpha-Lex Ultra has the ability to reduce the universal cost of our Animo by 1, meaning that while these guys in our small group, they are free. This means that I can activate a Professor to grab me a Professor and a Tortosaur. I can use that Professor to activate, and I can grab myself a Bibsy and another Professor. And I can use that Professor to grab me 2 Bibsy. I can use Tortosaur to grab a Tortosaur, and then that last Tortosaur can grab me an Alpha-Lex Ultra. When I activate Alpha-Lex Ultra, it's going to make all my Animo worth 2 more Virtue Point powers. Sorry, I forgot there for a second. Which means that these, not only are they free, but they are 5 points each. Now, sometimes I have to play Bibsy from my hand, which gives me a lot more value. So, if I don't have a second Bibsy in the deck, I will use Sea Curl to fill in that space for the Bibsy, since it serves the same purpose. Next up, we have 3 Mercifier. Oops, I got one too many cards. Mercifier has the ability that says, if this Animo's in your small group, you may choose to swap it with a level 1 Animo from your deck with a total virtue power of 7 or less. So the idea behind this Mercifier is I'm going to use him to go grab the other Animo that I need. Or I'm just going to use him to be activated as a 1 for 7 since I have Aquilion Ultra. Next up, we only run 2 Prayer Group in this deck because Prayer Group is not necessary for this deck, but I can also use it to grab with Professor or Tortosaur. And then for the main combo of the deck, I have Aquilion Ultra and 2 Alpha-Lex Ultra. Now this does mean that I'm not using Flow Ultra in this deck, and that's because I would honestly prefer to activate 2 Alpha-Lex Ultra in a single turn. That way, my Tortosaurs, instead of being worth 3, This one would make them worth 5, and this one would make them worth 7. And that means that 2 Taurosaurs together would be 14 points. And my Profess Hairs, they would be worth 12 points apiece, meaning that I can actually make 2 Taurosaurs go further than 1 Profess Hair for the same activation cost. Anyways, you'll notice that we use this similar strategy in the Ellie deck. And all I'm doing is I'm just trading Ellie out for Sadie, changing a few things up for consistency's sake. And just trying to upgrade that strategy to be just a little bit more consistent. I know that Ellie has the ability, so that way we don't need as many points to win. But I'm going to trade that off with Sadie having the ability to actually search out these characters. So that has been our Sadie, Hope, and Universal. So in the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating Sinnies.